What's going on, YouTube? Let's talk housing market. Been getting in my research bag, trying to slowly. Not really looking to buy a house right now, or really any time in the next couple months. Honestly, even got to wait for this baby to get here and then feel that situation out, see how things go. Don't want to do that many life changes all at one time. I don't know. For me, this would be my first house. I've obviously never done it before, or I would have already got the general lowdown on this shit. I've talked about the housing market multiple times. I mean, it interests me. I constantly, I'm just kind of like looking at what's going on with the housing market. I'm just checking Realtor.com, Zillow.com, whatever. I'm just scoping houses that I'm like, oh, that's just checking prices, seeing what's out there, especially around me. I mean, I'd say around where I'm at. Obviously, it depends on where you're living, where you're at. Around me, you can probably get a pretty nice house. I'm generally looking for like the starter house, the 3 to 4 bedroom, more on the 3, not really 4, but 3 bedroom, 1.5 bath, 2 bath would be ideal to have 2 bathrooms, and like mild fixer upper. I don't know. I obviously don't want to have a fucking project house every time I come home. I'm like, oh shit, I got to do all this stuff. I got to redo the whole kitchen before I can cook in it or anything like that. I don't want to go that far, but I'm talking redo the floors, repaint some stuff, redo a bathroom while you can use the other one, things like that. Try to keep it as simple as possible, but I'm not scared to put a little effort into redoing some things. And me and my wife were talking about it. She got upset with me because she's tired of me sending her houses that we're not going to buy anytime soon. And like I said, that's kind of like my spare time hobby. I'm just checking Realtor.com, and I'll send her them all the time. And she's like, "Oh, so we're getting ready to buy a house?" I was like, "Well, no, I was just kind of looking." So that's on me. It was a little misunderstanding. That's my bad. Then she sends me one on Facebook Messenger the other day. I'll let that slide though, I guess. But prices are, I mean, everything's still insane. It's just crazy. 4 years ago, I mean, we're up like $100,000 in 4 years around where I live, in a nice-ish. That house I'm talking about, that starter house, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, went from like 150 to like 250, 300-ish, so something around where I'm at. Like, if you want a nice house that isn't any fixer-upper, you're looking probably 250, 300, depending on where you're at. Especially where I live, I'm out in the middle of fucking rural Ohio. Like, normally you'll get a little bit of land with your house and stuff, especially if you're not in town. I live out in the, like, not like country, and in a holler or nothing, but like we're out in farm fields, hilly, rolling. You're gonna get like half an acre probably at least with your house, half acre minimum. Looking at like a lot of houses have like an acre and a half, 2 acres, something like that, and that'd be great. But I don't want to pay $300,000 for a house right now. In theory, I mean, we could do it, like budget-wise, we could. Even, I mean, following like the general rules, like I think the accepted one that if you like Google a rule of like how much money you should spend on your house, it'll show something like 28% of your gross pay, which is a little high for what I'm talking about. So like our gross pay is somewhere like $140,000 probably total, me and my wife combined gross. And so we're looking at what, $25,000 a year, and a little bit more than that, so like $35,000 a year, something like that, roughly, in housing expenses. Divide that by 12, $3,000 for all your expenses though. So that's like mortgage, interest, insurance, PMI if you got it. I think that even includes maybe your, like, I don't know if that counts your utilities and stuff, but I ain't paying. It doesn't matter. I'm not paying $3,000 a month for a house. It's not happening. I'm looking at like half of that. I'm looking at like 25% of like take home would be more ideal. So somewhere around like $1,500 is what I'm kind of shooting for, like $1,500 or under. And like I said, I mean, 4 or 5 years ago, that's cakewalk around where I live. Like, that's easy. I mean, where I work, totally different concept. That's like Columbus is blowing up right now. It's like one of the fastest growing cities in the United States. So good luck. You're gonna be living in a fucking shack for $300K. I mean, you might get like a townhouse for $300K or something, but you're definitely I'd rather drive. I'd rather drive my hour and live out where I live right now and enjoy some peace and quiet than live in the city and live in a shithole for $300,000. I'd say you want to get a house that's like on that level back there. You're gonna live in like a subdivision for like $450K, something that'll be reasonable. I'd say that's pretty like regular. 300, 350, you might be getting into like neighborhoods where it's like okay, like older neighborhoods where it's okay. But I don't know. I'd like to hear what you guys think about that. That's, like I said, it's so location dependent that's everything, man. Like if you live in a big city, you're paying out your ass for a home. I mean, and like I said, if you move out to where I'm at in the country, like you might be able to. I just like the idea of having some land, some space to my own. I grew up like our neighbors were like you'd have to like glare through the trees to be able to see the houses, and like my mom's house was cheap as shit. I mean, it's kind of rough. It was like $40,000 house. You can imagine that. There was like, I think the people that lived there before us ripped all the copper piping out of the house. So just imagine what that was like. It's not a nice house, I'm saying, but it had 2.5 acres. 2.5 acres for $40,000 ain't too bad. That doesn't exist anymore, obviously. I mean, that was, I think, in like 2011 or something we moved, something like that. Sorry, gotta avoid the semis who don't know how to drive on this highway. But yeah, 1,500 is more where I'm looking. You still can make that happen around where I'm at. I'm playing the waiting game a little bit. I've said it a bunch of times. I'll say it again. Nobody's predicting what's going to happen with the housing market. My personal opinion is it's going to decrease. By how much, when, nobody knows. But I can afford to wait a little while at least, so I'm gonna wait. Like I said, a lot of changes going on, so I'm kind of just feeling that out, and then we'll look at buying the house. I don't think it's a good idea to move your pregnant wife anyway, especially like a month out from having a kid. So we're not looking at doing that anyway. But early next year, I'd like to like for real start looking. But today I'm listening to some videos while I'm at work. I had to work over, so I'm just sitting there fucking sending emails, listening to Michael Bordenero talk about housing market stuff. He's big on he thinks the housing market's gonna crash. He doesn't necessarily mean like fall apart crash, but like it's gonna go down. He doesn't know when. Obviously, he's pretty good about. He's not a prediction guy. That's his general consensus too. And you can see it starting to break in certain places. I mean, Florida I know is getting hit pretty hard. Texas is pretty wild. I see it all the time. Like you'll see these social media posts from Texas where it's like this beautiful, huge subdivision home that's like nice house, and there's like $350,000 around where I'm at. Especially if you're in like Columbus, that's like a $700,000 home. So I don't know what's happening in Texas, if they just like overbuilt the homes or what. Florida, I know people are kind of leaving after so many people influx to Florida during COVID. I mean, like I said, the variables are insane. So who knows? Columbus popping, people are moving in. House prices are going to stay high. I don't think they're going to go down anytime soon. But the thing that I was interested in was the charts. He was talking about some charts, and I saw one on Twitter as well. Basically, we're at like not peak, but damn near peak unaffordability of the homes. They're the most expensive they've ever been. Interest rates are still high. They're going to get cut here in September probably by 0.25, maybe 0.5. They're guessing now. Don't know. We'll see. Not much longer. Another half a month or so, and we'll see what they do. I don't think that's going to change anything. Like if they cut the rates from what are they like 5.5 or 5.75, something like that, to 5.25. I mean, it's not going to change that much. The mortgage rates are like 6.5 to like 7.5. Obviously, it depends on your credit. It's not going to change that much, so it might go to 6.25. It's still high for how high the prices are, and that's the combination we're fighting here. But the charts were showing unaffordability near all-time high. Inflation, we're ticking up. Inflation ticked down slightly. We're on track. What I meant to say was the jobs unemployment ticked up, and mortgage applications is like at like a low, and it's like the lowest it's been since like 1995 or something is what I was looking at, I think, on X. So it's slowing down. I mean, people can't afford these homes, and that's what I was saying. Michael Bordenero, he's talking about HELOCs ticking up. More and more people are getting into HELOCs. Refinances are ticking up, which in my mind, I think that's a pretty easy conclusion to draw, that people are trying to access this inflated equity of their home without selling their home. Because, I mean, right now, I don't know why anybody would sell their home unless they literally have to, because it's like, you're going to sell your house. Yeah, you're going to make money because the equity blew up, but you're going to have to spend the same amount of money to buy an equivalent house, because all the house prices are up, unless you like rent for like a couple years in hopes that it goes down. But so what? You sell it, you have to buy one for the same amount, and now your interest rate's fucking 6.5% instead of 3%. So why would you ever? That makes no sense. There's no reason to do that. So that's why they think, as the rates come down, we might see inflated, or like not inflated, additional pressure on the housing market from buyers and sellers. We'll see who wins that battle. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be fast enough to be like, oh, all these people want to buy houses now because the rates went down 0.25%. I don't see that happening. Like, me personally, I want to buy a house. That's not going to move the needle enough to make it like, oh, it's affordable now, I'm just going to go for it. That's not how that's going to work, I don't think. And I don't think you're going to pressure people into selling either just by dropping a little bit. We're probably going to have to get like we're going to have to get like the actual rate you pay, which is also like the Fed's rate is like the 5.5. Your mortgage rate is like 1% or 2% higher than that, because the banks basically just charge you for their services. That's where they're making their money, is that margin right there, as far as I understand. So until we see like the end result, your mortgage at like 5%, I don't think there's going to be that much more demand surge into the market, obviously, unless you're in a place that's fast growing and a lot of jobs coming in, a lot of stuff growing quickly. I don't see how it works out. The HELOCs, I mean, I know people have done it, but I don't see any good reason to do that. You basically just put your house on the line. If you can't afford it, they're taking your house now. It's like, yeah, you got access to the equity, but now they can take your home. I don't think that sounds like a good idea. And then what, you're going to refi your 3% rate into a 6% rate so you can get a $50,000 cash out refi or something, $100,000 to do what with? Spend it on fucking vacation and, I don't know, build a pool in your backyard, I guess. I think I'd rather just save up the money over time if you can and do it that way. Why reset your loan by cash out refining? I don't understand that. But we'll see where it goes. Like I said, it's a waiting game. I'm here to wait. I don't know. If you're in Ohio watching this, or if you're in the general area, a couple states around Midwest, I don't know, Midwest, it seems this might be one of the only places left to buy like an affordable home. I feel like, really, like if you're on the coasts, good fucking luck, dog. I don't know. You're paying $700,000 to live in like a 2-bedroom house. California is like, they're out of their fucking mind. It's like, what do you want? You want 2 bathrooms? That'll be $1.2 million. So same with New York, I'm sure. Like if you're living in one of the East Coast big cities, you're paying the same. Florida, honestly, is probably pretty expensive as well. But hey, Midwest might be where it's at. I don't know. I'm not leaving. I'm staying right here. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna keep following it. Hope you got some enjoyment out of the video. Got something information. Like I said, I'm beginning my deep dive into mortgage options. What kind of loans, best practices. What's the best way to move forward with this? Just so I can have all the info before we even get started. So, like I said, this is a pure finance video, but we're talking every day about random shit, what's going on. So, if you like the video, subscribe, come back tomorrow. I'm trying to make them every day. And we got one more this week. Tomorrow's Friday, and then we're cruising in the weekend. I'll catch you then.